What are you hiding from? What are you still avoiding? Even after all these years of reaching to this point in our lives, there are still things that, if you were to be totally honest with yourself, you are still avoiding and hiding from. Hi, my name is Pamela Sylvan, and this is another episode of Natural Mojo. And before we get started, I just wanted to introduce you to my new book called 80 Things Not to Give a Flying Fig About and What to Do Instead. It's available in the link below, and I think you're going to absolutely enjoy this journey that I'm going to set before you. It's an opportunity to dissolve some of the mind viruses and the thoughts and the mindsets that are keeping you from recognizing and living into your best version. So check out the link in the section in my bio below. So let's talk about avoidance. It's something that I know has plagued me a great part of my life. Hiding from past injustices, hiding from responsibilities, just hiding from the demons that plague my mind. And I'm quite certain that it's something that is probably haunting you as well. I don't think there's anybody in our society that's not hiding from something. We put on wonderful masks so we don't look as if we have this issue. We might be really great in certain areas of our life and we're on the ball and we are very diligent and disciplined and so forth. And then there are other things that we just hide away from and pretend that they're not there. But the honest truth about this, it's a two-edged sword, if you will. If you are hiding from something, you are blocking your potential. You are blocking the best parts of yourself. You're blocking so many opportunities. And the relief that you get from hiding is only a temporary fix. At some point in life, you're going to have to deal. Okay? You have to deal with what you are running away from or sitting on or hiding from. Trust me, I know. So today, let's talk about avoidance, what it is, and what we can do about it. And did I mention that there's magic when you meet that thing you're avoiding head on? So let's get started. Understand avoidance a little bit. What is it? Well, again, it's a control mechanism that we falsely believe that we have. We believe that if we stand down from that thing that's making us anxious, uncomfortable, and afraid, fear jumps up in this a lot, that we can control the outcomes of this. But fear, as we all know, is uncontrollable, because in the quiet of the night, when you're on your bed about to go to sleep, that thing comes back and haunts you. It comes back poking at you to say, hey, don't you remember that you have this thing to do? Do you not remember that you're responsible for this? Hey, what about that thing that happened years ago? Or what about that thing that you're supposed to take care of and didn't do? So the effects of hiding is only temporary. It's heavily rooted in our journey for self-preservation. We want to stay whole. We want to be protected. We want to feel good. We just simply want to feel good. I mean, that's the bottom line. And we think by hiding and sticking that uncomfortable or sometimes even horrific thing behind us or beneath us, we don't have to worry about it. We don't have to deal with it. And it feels like you've gotten away with that. But, there's something about that. It's something about not taking care of those things that you need to take care of, even though you can't see it. And even though you did a really great job of taking it out of your mind for whatever length of time, it starts to ooze out of your pores. It's like eating garlic. You might have eaten the garlic hours ago, but the after effects of garlic walks with you, right? It seeps through your pores. People will ask you, hey, did you just eat garlic? Because you may not have any evidence of it in front of you any longer, but it's still with you. The issues are still in your tissues. I love that quote. I read it somewhere recently, but I just want you to know that the act of self-preservation is temporary. It looks like you've taken care of the problem, but the problem is still there. I call this a turd sundae. You've heard me use that term many times, where it looks like a beautiful cherry sundae with a cherry on top, but underneath is a whole bag of poop. Looks great, hot mess beneath. We are that hot mess walking around, are we not? We solely and fervently believe that we've taken care of the thing, or we do so much to create that mask for the rest of the world to believe that we have our stuff together. But in the quiet of our mind, in the quiet of our environment, in the quiet of the night while you're laid in your bed, you know for a fact that you have taken care of anything. Nothing has been resolved. And that's where this feeling of stagnation and anxiety starts to overwhelm. Does it not? You know what I'm talking about. You felt this. Some part of your life is still left undone. Some part of your life still needs your focus, the attention, and the light that only you can bring to the situation. So it's left for you to ask, when will you be ready to step up and take care of what needs taken care of? But you're going to say, oh, but Pam, the reason that I stuffed this thing away is the fear and the discomfort attached to this. And really, that's at the source and the heart of avoidance. Somewhere back in the day, something happened to you, something was said, and it created that avoidance pattern in you. We can go deeper into avoiding patterns, but today I just wanted to at least start having this conversation with you, just for you to get what I'm talking about. It set up an avoiding pattern within you. You know, in the world of somatic training and behavior, the belief is, and it is a true thing, as a matter of fact, it is a thing, as they say, that whatever happens to us stays with us. The body knows. Just like as stated in the book, The Body Keeps the Score by Vanderkolk. It stays with us. We live with this. We might not have it in front of us or conscious memory of it even, but it stays with us. Sometimes you find yourself reacting to things or places or situations or songs or smells because the memory of it is at a cellular level. The issues are in the tissues. So I want you to understand that a lot of the avoidance that goes on in your life is at a cellular level. And that's why doing deep work, deep cellular work, deep memory work is advantageous for you to unshackle for the ties that bind. A lot of things that you walk around or try to walk past because it just takes you to a place where you start to tremble in fear. You feel it. And I know what I'm talking about because I've had to deal with this issue, and I'm still dealing with this issue on certain levels. When I was a young girl, things happened to me that I preferred to stuff and to forget. And some of it was unresolved, basically because back in my time, when things happened to young girls, all the family knew to do was to hush it up, to hide it, to stuff it. And the message that you get, or at least the message that I got, was it's best to keep that stuff hidden, and whatever after effects come up, just do your best to walk away, forget, and get on with your life. So that's what we do, right? You put on a pretty face, you put on some lipstick, and off you go. But the mess is still under there, seething like garlic. So for those of you that have garlic in your lives still that you need to deal with, it's now time to shed some light. It's now time to go back and start unwinding that thread that has tangled up your best possibilities, your best intentions, has impeded the energy in your life for forward momentum and success. You know, sometimes you feel all tangled up and you don't understand why. A lot of it has to do with avoiding patterns in your system that's still affecting you at that cellular level. You know, and a big part of avoidance for some of you as well is not just what happened in the past, but what's going on in the future or the unknown. You know, there's that saying that better the devil you know than the devil you don't know. So you are willing to sit with the discomfort. You are willing to sit with the mess. You are willing to sit with what doesn't work and feels bad because you'd rather do that than go out and do something new and something different, because the unknown, the future, holds unpredictability, and unpredictability is a lack of safety to us. That's how we compute things. We don't know how it's going to be. We don't know how it's going to end, so it's unpredictable. The anxiety starts to rise, so we get all anxious. And we run back to safety, and we go back to the bad relationships, or we stay in the jobs that make us unhappy, or we stay at the weight that even though I don't fit into anything and I feel, a mess and I don't feel well, I'd rather do this because the other is a little bit too tricky for my mind and my body and my soul to navigate. So better the devil I know. And, folks, it's such an unhappy way, an unworthy way for you to live your life. You were made for more. You were made for better. Not necessarily greater and bigger, but you were made for better. And you are keeping better away by not moving into those places. Now, having said that, let me add a caveat here, because there are some things that have happened to people that they need a little bit of scaffolding around them to help them navigate moving from one end to the next. Not everybody is prepared to go this alone. And I would say most of us should have some sort of support, either through family, friends, or professionals, to help them get through to the other side. Because some things that come up for people, it creates a sense of crisis within their body, mind, and their soul. All the whole system goes into a crisis mode, and they start to shut down because their system can't handle the anxiety and the pressure and the heaviness, the darkness that comes from unwinding some of these things, the things that are caught up and impeding our tissues. Some of these things pop out of us. The garlic that pops out of us could be illness in the way of cancer or diabetes or what have you, or some sort of autoimmune deficiency that has gotten in the way of our systems working well. Some of us might have really bad situations around relationships, or maybe abundance, or friendships, or self-esteem. It attacks in different forms and fashions. Some people have really great outcomes when it comes to maybe relationships, but their health not so great, because the energy is going to find itself through your system anyway, regardless of your best attempts to keep it hidden. You've probably heard of people who they look like they have it all together, and then all of a sudden, for what seems like no reason whatsoever, they start to lose control. They go into a sort of vague situation where they start violently reacting to memories that all of a sudden have come up. They pushed it so far back, they totally forgot about it. But then it catches up and takes over. There might be times where you might be just sitting somewhere, having a great conversation with your friends, and then that ugly, nasty feeling overcomes you. More than likely, it's a state of mind that you pushed back, it's an incident that you've forgotten about, or just some sort of responsibility that you'd rather not do because it's too difficult to do, or it's too difficult to entertain the idea. You're not prepared. This is why support, whether it's counseling or it's some sort of therapeutic or mentor or coaching situation, to help get you over the gap and to the other side. All right. It's, a lot of people poo-poo things like coaching and mentoring and counseling and therapy. There's a really good reason for it. We do need that help in life. There's no shame in that. There's no shame in holding your hand across the table and asking somebody for help. Even if you get into a great mastermind or a great circle of others who are going through this together, just like they do with Alcoholics Anonymous and other such type groups of healing. Because you can't do it alone. You need sponsorship. You need support. You need a way to connect to the light. You need someone whispering words of encouragement and strength and resiliency and courage and love into you as you make your way through tiny bits at a time. It doesn't have to be one big splash out there. If you think you can, do it. But for most people, they need to do this one little tiny step at a time. There's that old adage that says, how do you eat an elephant? The correct response is one bite at a time. You can't eat the elephant, but one bite at a time. You can't possibly eat the whole thing, right? And so with what you're trying to unravel and make some headway with and shine some light on, one step at a time, you make that first step, you congratulate yourself, you journal about it, you give gratitude, maybe you want to journal about that, and you move forward again, okay? Now, when you make your first steps out into the light towards the thing that you're avoiding, the first thing to do is recognize it. You may not even do anything about it for some time, but at least get a really great journal out, pen and paper at least, at the very least, and start writing down the areas in your life where you have been avoiding some really important things. Things like getting in the best shape of your life, getting your health back. As we age, our health becomes our most important asset. So why have you been avoiding that, right? It might be an emotional issue that keeps you away from spiraling into or up to the best health of your life. Start identifying your patterns of avoidance. What does it look like? How do you avoid things? For me, it was how I would just do all of this housework, puttering, it's called. I would putter because I thought busyness would be my sort of elixir or my prize or award for not doing the other thing. I'm too busy to do that thing because I have these things to do. All of this nonsensical busyness, still avoiding what I need to do. So that's how I avoided. Your patterns of avoidance might look very different. But I also urge you to start doing some research for yourself. Google avoidance patterns. A lot of these avoidance patterns were set up early in our life, in our childhood. Things had happened in our homes that set you up. It was about self-preservation. Mine was about self-preservation. I never wanted to hear anything bad or horrific because when I was a little girl, my father was that sort of demon for me in my mind. The noise and the violence that set me up on a road to avoid anything that looked or felt like that. Whatever it happened to look like. Anything bad, anything with bad news, I didn't want to know or see or handle because those early years were deep in my tissues. So again, it's about journeying into knowing yourself. You know, if you've traveled with me for any distance of time, I talk about knowing thyself. Know thyself well enough to investigate and find out what kinds of things trigger you. There is a key to you, but you have to take the time. And that's why I love journaling, the process of journaling, the process of meditation, the process of movement. Somatic movement, anything to do where you get your body and your energy moving. But whether it be yoga or walking or anything to that matter, just get your body moving. Take care of yourself. This is deep, deep self-care. This is shadow work. This is the places that we hide. We push the best parts of ourselves down and lock it down, and it's still there waiting for us to unleash and release it to the light. So this is a call to you to release that part of you that's been waiting for you to turn around and see it imprisoned, waiting for you to say, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready to do the work. I'm ready to release you into the light. And again, it won't be easy. It won't feel good a lot of the times, but it's so rewarding. Get the support you need if you think you need it. Don't do it alone if it's too frightening or you just can't handle that pressure or anxiety or stress. This is not about self-flagellation. This is not about dumping on yourself. Forgive yourself, move on, do the work, and let's get your life spiraling up, okay? So I have some resources for you at mojoresources.ca to get you working on some what-if questions. I went back to those what-if questions after some time, and I read them, and I thought, hey, I have to start talking about this more emphatically. Those questions are great. They're 10 questions. I've even filled them out as an example for you to see how deep you can go with the answers. 10 questions, start filling them out. And like I said, start working with the 80 things not to give a flying fig about and what to do instead book. It's a journal book. There's lots of space for you to put down your thoughts as you unravel and move through some of these spaces. And I've even given you 80 prompts, 80 statements, 80 prompts, 80 affirmations to help you on the road to healing and health. So, be good to yourself, be loving to yourself, be kind to yourself, and you're here to be part of a great work in the light. So, let's get started. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.